Peace and light, family. I hope that you are well. So today we are talking about the 5 phases of locks. We are going to explain each phase as well as give care tips for each phase of locking. However, I first want to start off with a little aura cleansing, a little energy cleansing. This is a time where we must focus on maintaining that we have our energy clean. We are prepared to come into this new year, and every step we take is intentional and beneficial for our supreme energy wellness. Here's some for you. Here's some for you. Much love, much light, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Now let's get started. Now, I just wanted to take a moment to say peace and love to all of my new subscribers. I appreciate your energy. For those of you who do not know, I am a 5.5-year strong freeform locker. I've been freeforming from June of 2014 till now, which is December 2019. I started from bald. So every phase of locks that I'm about to describe to you, I have been through myself. I started out from bald, and then about the second phase of locking, I started having tiny locks. That by the time I got to the third phase of locking, started combining or marrying together, as we say in the freeform community. So I have a lot of 2-headed dragons, 3-headed dragons, but I love all of my locks and have taken great care in learning them. So here are some care tips. Now let's get started. Of course, I have to begin with the starter lock phase. The starter lock phase go from 0 to about 3 to 4 months. Now, when you have starter locks, that phase begins immediately when you start your locks. So whether you are cultivating your locks or you are free-forming, some common things that we all go through during that starter lock phase is wondering what is happening with our hair. We are all waiting to start seeing those locks bud and begin to form. We are all waiting to watch our hair just kind of take on a magic of its own. When you are beginning that starter lock phase, your strands of hair are not only responsible for bonding themselves, but they are now responsible for forming bonds between other strands of hair, which is what happens when our hair locks together. The bonds of our hair start to come together and they lock permanently, and the only way they will unlock is if we break those bonds. So we want to make sure that we are building strong bonds between our strands of hair, which will allow our locks to form more quickly and much more healthy. A key thing you want to do when you are in the starter phase is maintain a clean scalp. Maintaining a clean scalp can be difficult if you are starting with cultivated locks, because you are told in the very beginning not to wash your hair unless you are interlocking. If you are starting with cultivated locks and you are not washing your hair during that starter lock phase, it's okay. I have a formula that will help you maintain a clean scalp. Now let me first explain why we have to maintain a clean scalp. Oftentimes our scalp produces oil. It will have too much oil on it and it will start to build up, and the pores on your scalp will start to clog. This can decrease hair growth. This can cause a breaking of bonds. This can lead to a lot of other issues that you don't want down the line. So please be mindful that you maintain a clean scalp, but you also want to balance that out with moisturizing. So let me explain how we do that. A way that you can maintain a clean scalp, whether you have cultivated or freeform locks, is by creating your own natural cleansing formula. So here's the formula. You'll get a spray bottle, a portable spray bottle. You can buy one for like 97 cents from Target or Walmart in the travel section. So you want to get a spray bottle. In that spray bottle, you want to put 1/3 cup of witch hazel and 2/3 cups of water. I'm going to say that again. 1/3 cup of witch hazel and 2/3 cup of water. Witch hazel is magical for the scalp because it cleanses away all the excess grease while still leaving the natural oils that our hair needs for food. So 1/3 cup of witch hazel to 2/3 cups of water. In total, you should have 1 cup of liquid in the bottle. But that's not all. You also want to add 2 to 3 drops of peppermint oil. The peppermint oil helps open up the pores on the scalp, and it helps promote hair growth along with blood circulation in the scalp that will also promote hair growth. So 2 to 3 drops of peppermint oil. Lastly, 2 to 3 drops of tea tree oil. The reason you need that tea tree oil is so it can kill those excess bacteria and any microbiomes that may be forming in the hair and living in your scalp as parasites. So it's feeding off of those proteins that we need to bond our hair. Once you have your 1/3 cup of witch hazel, 2/3 cups of water, 2 to 3 drops of peppermint oil, 2 to 3 drops of tea tree oil, feel free to add 1 to 2 drops of lavender oil for scent. That will give you a nice pleasant scent mixed with, to balance out some of those strong smells with the tea tree and the peppermint. That peppermint lavender mix is amazing. It opens up the pores. It's very relaxing. It's that balance between like being open and refreshed, but also calm and relaxed. It's a beautiful mix. So that peppermint lavender with that tea tree in there is a great combination to put in your hair, and that witch hazel just seals the cleansing deal. So you're gonna mix that bottle up and you'll spray about a foot away from your scalp, because you just want a nice gentle mist. You don't want to drench your hair. So you're going to hold your arm about a foot away from your scalp and you're going to spray gently all around your hair. Now the key about spraying it is, once again, you just want a gentle mist. You don't want to drench your locks. You don't want to drench your scalp. You can do this about 2 to 3 times a week in order to maintain a clean scalp and kill any of those excess bacteria and living parasites that may be on our scalp, causing our hair not to grow and not to bond in a healthy way. That is the care tip for the starter lock phase. Now, if you care for your starter locks properly, you'll start to see them form, and then you'll move into the next phase. Now, the next lock phase is known as the budding phase. The budding phase, some people refer to it as the ugly stage. I cannot tell you guys how many people I know that want to start locks, but they say, I don't want to go through the ugly stage. I don't want to go through the ugly stage. Listen, the budding stage is not the ugly stage, because there is no ugly stage with locking. If you care for your locks properly, you will not go through an ugly stage. So when you are in the budding phase, you know you are there because it's normally about 4 months until about a year into your journey. And I say a year because as a freeformer, I started from bald, and honey, it took so long because of my hair texture. I'm about a 3C to a 4A. Because of my hair texture, it took a long time for my locks to start budding. So that budding phase for me lasted a while. And you know you are in the budding phase when you simply start to see your locks actually come together and lock. They're no longer starter locks. You don't have to worry about washing them out if you have cultivated locks. You can actually, this is normally when your loctician will say, wash your hair. Like, you can now do it because your hair is officially locked. Now, are your locks still sensitive? Can they still be combed out at this point? Absolutely, but it'll take a lot of effort, intentional effort, to break those bonds. So that is how you know you are in the budding phase. As a freeformer, I let my locks form 100% naturally. I did not use the towel method. I did not use a sponge. I did not use anything. Because I did not use anything to form my locks, my budding phase was real. It lasted from about month 3 from me shaving my head bald. It lasted from about month 3 all the way until year 1. And I'll insert some pictures so you guys can see it. I had budding locks all around the sides, the back. First, they started coming in the back first. Then I started getting some on the sides, but my top took forever to lock. Forever, you guys. My top took forever to lock. So for my whole first year, I was walking around with people being like, girl, what you doing, sis? You okay? So what you got going on? Like, people literally would ask questions. They thought I was going through something, y'all. But for me, I did not feel like I was in an ugly phase because I knew what was happening to my locks. I knew that this was intentional and that what happened throughout this process would be so worth this stage. So at that point, you couldn't tell me nothing, okay? I knew I was taking care of my hair the way I should, and I knew, like, I was excited just to actually see the locks budding. I was like, look, this is progress. Okay, we got some hair now. This is progress. We looking good. Every time I would see a new lock forming, I'm like, oh, there's one. Here's the one. I was so excited, you guys. That is mainly how you care for your locks throughout this budding phase. When you are in the budding phase, the key is that you work on your esteem. You have to care for your locks by caring for yourself in that budding phase. If you started from a fro, when you are in that budding phase, you'll start to notice that, like, if you started with 2-strand twists, you'll start to notice that your 2-strand twists are looking kind of lockish, but they're in that fuzzy, frizzy, I don't know what I'm doing really phase. They know that they're locking, but other people cannot tell that they're locking. Sometimes you don't even know if they're fully locked. It starts to just look fuzzy. They start to compact, so they're moving up in length. Next thing you know, you're like, my hair is shorter. It's not looking like I thought it was gonna look. Some people really panic. However, you have to know that this process is a journey, and you are now at stage 2. You are beyond the starter phase. You are now in that budding phase. So you have locks starting to bud. Your hair is blooming. It's taking on a life of its own. So just be mindful of that. Care for yourself internally. Build that confidence in yourself that nobody can tell you nothing, baby, because you know you working your little budding locks. All right? Work them budding locks, honey. Work them. Seriously though, to take care of your locks during the budding phase, once again, you just want to make sure that you are maintaining a clean scalp, but also make sure you are putting some light oil on those budding locks. And I'm going like this because I know some people start from a fro, so some people's budding locks may be a little longer than others. But if you are like me and you started from bald, or if you're starting from a TWA, your budding locks is up here, okay? So to take care of those budding locks, make sure that you are not only cleansing your scalp, but you're also adding some oil, some extra oil, aside from what's in the bottle. You want to make sure you're adding some extra oil, like a coconut oil, an olive oil, an avocado oil, to the hair as well. It's important that you moisturize the locks at this time, because once again, they're forming those protein bonds, and you want those bonds to remain strong, and you don't want your hair to start breaking, nor your ends to start splitting. Dry hair leads to split ends. At this time, yes, your hair is somewhat locked. I'm not going to say fully locked, because in the budding phase, it's still very possible and easy to break those bonds if you are intentional about doing it. So they won't wash out, but you can still break apart those locks. Be sure that you are moisturizing your locks with a little bit of oil, okay? Because you don't want those bonds to start to break, those ends to start to split, and then you have excess fuzz that's really unnecessary and avoidable. You have a lot going on. You'll start to notice that if you're going like this, you may see some hair falling. That is not healthy. Be mindful that you are putting some type of moisture in the form of a light oil on your locks. Now the third phase is the baby lock phase. The baby lock phase normally goes from about the first year to the second year. And that is when your locks are fully formed. They have moved past that budding phase where they are starting to form into locks. Those bonds are building between the strands. They're moving out of that phase and your hair is fully locked. You can tell, other people can tell that, okay, you have locks now. Now, what does the baby lock phase look like? If you are a freeformer like myself, that baby lock phase, year 1 to 2, there are a lot of changes happening. At that phase, my locks were sticking straight up in the air. By the end of the first year, they had started dropping a little bit, but they were mainly just sticking straight up for most of that first year. If you have a TWA and you're starting cultivated locks from a TWA, you may also be experiencing some of that same stick up, or your locks, your little baby locks, will have already started dropping, but they are at ear length, maybe a little bit below ear length. If you're starting from a fro beyond a TWA, you'll start to notice that your locks have almost like a thick, full look to them, but they are still very much locked. Now, I love the baby lock phase because this is when you are just proud, because it's like, I got locks now. So this is when we have most of our pride. We have built that confidence because we've worked through that budding lock phase. This is when you are just starting to coast in the journey that you are officially a lock king or queen. Another beautiful thing about the baby lock phase is that you can kind of play around during the baby lock phase with your care routine. This is when you're really like testing out your hair. It's officially locked. The worrying about breaking those bonds is not as strong anymore because you have those bonds built. The thing is, we just want to make sure that we maintain and keep a strong bond within our locks. So how can we do that? It is really up to you to really play with your lock care routine at this time, because you want to see at this early phase, how do my locks respond the best and what products do they respond the best to. For example, for me, I am a natural girl, so I definitely prefer using a lot of aloe vera to condition my locks, a lot of light natural oils, avocado oil, coconut oil. I also love a lot of like not natural homemade light cleansers, apple cider vinegar rinses, herb rinses, etc. However, my aunt has sister locks, and she says her locks respond best to using like regular shampoos, clarifying shampoos. She'll get like a lot of like drugstore, I don't want to say any brands, but she'll get like a lot of drugstore shampoos and stuff, and that works best for her locks. She also recently started conditioning her locks with like real actual conditioner. I could never do that for my locks. So no two sets of locks are really the same. It is up to you to figure out which care routine works best for you. But this is when you want to kind of start experimenting. However, you don't want to over experiment. Stick to one routine for about 2 to 3 months and see how that routine affects you. My suggestion is that you start where you feel you need the most help first. Okay? Start out by finding the best shampoo first, because cleansing your locks and what you use to cleanse your locks will determine your care routine. If you cleanse your locks with the wrong shampoos that are too heavy, shampoos with too many chemicals, you will have buildup in your locks, and your locks will require a lot more care and maintenance after washing. However, if you find that perfect shampoo for your locks, for example, a Castile soap, Dr. Bronner's Castile soap has been amazing for my locks, especially in that baby lock phase. Black soap, African black soap, great cleanser for baby locks. So find out what shampoo works best for you and what causes less buildup. Then once you figure out what shampoo works best for you, then you can move into what moisturizers work best for you. Note that I skip conditioners because I recommend that you do not put conditioner in your locks. Instead of conditioner, use all natural aloe vera. Yes, the plant aloe vera is a great conditioner. It has protein in it called keratin. Keratin is the same protein that our locks are bonded off of. So the more aloe vera, the stronger the lock bonds. I have a whole video dedicated to the benefits of aloe vera, how to use aloe vera. Check those out on my channel. But use aloe vera instead of conditioner. So great shampoo, aloe vera instead of conditioner, and then find out which oils work best for your locks. But once again, this baby lock phase is your time to play, honey. Enjoy it. You got a fresh new baby. These baby locks are when you can dress it up. You can take the good pictures, track your journey. This is when you are really officially the lock king or the lock queen, baby. Now, the fourth stage of locks is the teen lock phase. You know you have reached the teen lock phase when you are in about year 2 to year 4 of locking. You are officially out of the baby lock phase and your locks have already dropped. They are now growing. You have established a quality care routine. You know what works for your locks for the most part. And now you are just kind of going with the flow and letting your locks finally take a life of their own without too much of your interference. So how do we care for our locks throughout the teen phase in order to maintain those strong bonds and making sure they're growing and prospering in the best way possible? The best thing you can do for your locks during the teen phase when it comes to care is just really ensuring that you are paying attention to the seasons. How are the seasons or the weather affecting your hair? And you may now start switching up your care routine based on the seasons. For example, I know as a freeformer, for myself, I wash my hair at least once a week during the the summer, but in the wintertime, I cannot do that. I also recognize that in the summer, my hair is a little more dry and brittle than it is in the winter. So I definitely have to start doing more moisturizing. During the spring, it is very humid, so my scalp creates a lot or holds a lot of humidity. Therefore, my scalp is normally damp during the spring. If I'm like outside and I'm active, if I'm working out, my locks will hold, my scalp, will hold the sweat more than it normally does. So I have to go into overtime when it comes to cleansing my scalp. But I love the humidity for my actual hair. So I go back to that original witch hazel cleanse that I told you about in the beginning to cleanse my scalp during the spring, but allowing my hair to hold those oils and hold that humidity because my hair really benefits from it. So when you are in the teen lock phase, really start to pay attention to the seasons and how the seasons are affecting your hair, and kind of play with your lock care routine based on that. How is that sun affecting your hair in the summer? How is that cold affecting your hair in the winter? How is that spring humidity affecting your hair? Really pay attention to those seasons and the effects that they have on your hair, because it is real. So switch up your lock routine based on the seasons. Once again, keep playing. Just be mindful. Do not overstyle. Once we get to the teen lock phase, that's when our hair is officially able to put in a ponytail. We can start maybe doing some buns. Year 2 to 4, you are definitely like seeing a lot of growth, a lot of changes. That's when that length starts really coming in. And a lot of us want to start playing with our hair. Minimize the styling, because too much styling is breaking those bonds in your locks, which you don't want to do. Drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, make sure that you are keeping your locks covered as much as possible so that you can avoid too much access to pollution and excess lint. Make sure that you are doing what you have to do to protect your jewels, okay? Our locks are our plant, our locks are our jewels. We do not want to overstyle them, and we want to protect them as much as possible so that we can move to the next phase. The final stage that we are going to discuss is the adult lock phase. You will know you have officially hit the adult lock phase when you feel that density, that weight. You are past the teen phase because your hair is fully compact. So that density is real. Your locks will start to feel heavy. When you wash them, it'll feel like someone is pulling your hair. I knew I was in the adult lock phase when I went to wash my locks, and I felt like I was in a fight, okay? And I was not on the winning side. It felt like my hair was being yanked because the density of my hair, our locks are like a sponge, so it was holding that excess water as well. My hair felt so heavy. And now I am 5.5 years in, and I noticed the weight of my locks more and more. I also noticed within this adult lock phase that my locks are really starting to like just have a uniformity to them. I'm really getting to know them more. I'm finding also as a freeform that in this adult lock phase, I have like locks that are really not, my locks aren't trying to combine that much anymore. I do still have some locks that are marrying together, but for the most part, my locks are just who they are. They are full-grown adults. The ones that wanted to marry, married. The ones that stay separate are separate, and for the most part, this is it. So you will know that you reached the adult lock phase when you feel that weight and just that uniformity of your locks, and you know that this is it. So how do we care for our locks during that adult lock phase? To care for your locks during the adult lock phase, you want to make sure that you are focusing a lot on the ends of your hair. Our hair at the ends can become very sensitive when we have reached the adult lock phase, because we have spent so much time focusing on our scalp, focusing on our hair growing in length, that we oftentimes want to make sure that I'm doing what I can do for my roots. I want to maintain strong roots. For my people with cultivated locks, a lot of them get worried about their locks being too tight at the root and thinning, so they focus a lot on their scalps. However, when we are in the adult lock phase, we cannot forget the ends of our baby. babies. We have to make sure that we keep them moisturized. Some people with cultivated locks tend to trim their ends, which can be a good thing. So they'll trim their ends in case they have any split ends. Freeformers, for the most part, I don't know any freeformers who trim their ends. I don't trim my lock ends, but you will start to notice that if you aren't caring for your locks, especially the ends, they will start to break off or unbond, which you do not want. So make sure that you are fully taking care of the ends of your locks, and you are moisturizing them, you are cleansing them on a regular basis, and you are keeping them protected. Once again, not too much styling, a light natural oil, maintain a good cleaning routine, and your adult locks will be just fine. Much peace to you, family. Thank you again for tuning in and for supporting. To all my new subscribers, I appreciate your energy so much. If you aren't a new subscriber yet, please click that link and subscribe. Turn those notifications on. I post a lot of videos about locks, spirituality, physical health, business tips, so many things. This channel is solely about holistic health education, wellness, and us prospering as a community. So thank you everyone for supporting. I appreciate your time and energy. If you have a question or comment, leave it below and I'll respond to you directly, or I may do a video dedicated to your question or comment. Much peace, much love, much light, much prosperity. Peace, family.